I am Amanda with Martin Yale Industries, here today with Samantha. Martin Yale is a U.S. owned and operated company. We've been here since 1940. We're located in Wabash, Indiana. Today we're going to be taking a look at our ALM3230 automatic laminator, which you can see running. This machine has a small footprint, less than 4 square feet. It is a tabletop unit, or there is an optional stand with locking rolling casters, which we're using today. This is the standard 115 volt, so it does just plug into your wall. It's a 15 amp. It does have a really quick warm up of less than 5 minutes, which is very convenient. Sheet sizes of 13 by 19, 12 by 18, 11 by 17, and 8.5 by 11. This unit does automatic 2-side lamination. It does have an adjustable automatic flush or a sealed edge trim. It is standard 1-year parts and 90-day labor warranty. Laminating speeds is about 20 inches up to 44 inches per minute, depending on which film you're using. Temperature range of 170 to 270 degrees Fahrenheit, again, depending on what film you're using. Thickness that this will do, it will handle paper of 20-pound bond up to 100-pound cover. It does have a feed capacity of about 100 sheets with adjustable paper guides. LCD display, just for start, stop, temperature, trim settings, we'll show you all that. It does have a laminated sheet counter, film tension control, and a paper thickness control. There's not much to this machine. Obviously, you can see it running. We do already have it obviously threaded. We do have threading videos available. You can request those from us, or we do have some available online if you want to see just like an instructional threading demo. But you just put the paper in the feed tray here. And it is a spring-loaded feed tray, adjustable on the bottom with a separator adjustment. Pull this top cover down. Can we open that cover? And you've got some tension guides. This machine does use our SAP film. Right now we are running the SAP 38 gloss, which is a 1.5 mil. It does gloss and matte, standard 1.5, 3 mil, 5 mil thicknesses. And this is your adjust back here. Just a manual button and a manual cut button. But I don't know if you can hear it. It's cutting the leading edge, and then it also cuts the trailing edge. And then there's some guides in here. That is to set your side trim. So this machine does do the laminating and the trimming all at once. So it keeps you from having to trim it manually later. And that really is all there is to it. Show you the LCD display real quick. Here's our display. I know there's a glare. It's hard to see what it actually says. Green for start, red for stop, obviously. This machine, because it does use the SAP film, our SAP film does come with a chip. It's going to be located in the core of the bottom lamination roll. That chip tells the machine what type of film you have loaded, so it automatically sets the temperature. That chip also, it does read and write, so it does know, the machine does know how much is left on the roll. So when you're nearing the end of the roll, it will warn you that your lamination roll is almost empty. And the chip is on, let me get you underneath here. This is the bottom roll. You can see where Samantha's pointing there. And we'll take it apart here so you can see the inside working of this. Samantha took the rest of the tray out, or rest of the paper out of the tray rather, and that way it's just going to finish laminating the sheet that was in there. And it's going to spit that back sheet out. And then it stops and it beeps to tell you that it's empty. And then the tray just pops right off. No tools necessary. Threading does not require tools other than some sort of threading card. You obviously don't want to get your fingers in there because these rollers are hot. Unlock the rollers using the lever on the side. And then the orange rollers in there, that is the heating rollers, and that's what's going to be warm. So to change film, we're going to cut this film off. Not an exact science to this by any means, other than you just don't want the sticky part to touch the rollers at any time. Anytime you have the adhesion side of the film touching the rollers, you're going to have a mess. So you really want to avoid that. There's a black stripe on that film. Black stripe goes on the side of the machine with the black dot, and that way you don't put it in wrong. Putting this film in wrong does cause a gigantic mess, so we've done everything possible to keep that from happening. And here's your RFID cap that we were talking about that tells the machine what film's in it. And that always goes on the bottom. And again, the bottom also has the black stripe, black dot to make it easy to know which side goes where. We just shut the machine off there to let it cool down a little bit. But that's it. Like I said, if you do need a threading video, we're more than happy to do that for you. You can email us at info@martinyale.com. You can call us 800-225-5644. Website martinyale.com. We do have some videos on there as well that show you a little bit more detailed. I'm sorry, drylam.com. Brand new website that just got put back up. Definitely check that out. They just revamped it, so it looks really nice, and we're really proud of that. And it's got a lot of videos on it and a lot of information if you need information on these machines. Anybody have any questions? Let me unmute you there.
Question?
Sure.
Okay. How many papers or originals can I put in there? And what's the speed?
Well, that's
let's say 8.5 by 11.
okay. If you're just using like a standard 20-pound bond or a thickness similar to that, it's about 100 sheet feed capacity on the feed tray. The speed is going to depend on what kind of film you're using, but it usually runs, average is in the middle about 33 inches per minute.
Okay. Okay. Now with the film, what's the thickness? Is the thicker the film, the more sturdy the output? Is that how it works?
Can you ask the question again?
Okay. What's the differences between the thickness of the film? Is it because the hardiness of the end product?
Yes. Yeah, the thickness of film is just the thickness of the actual material, as opposed to, it has something to do with the ratio of the adhesion to the film. But yes, the thicker film, like a 5 mil film, is going to be thicker, and what's the word I'm looking for?
And I assume there are two rollers, right? One on the top. I mean, two films. One on the top, one on the bottom.
One on the top, one on the bottom. Yep, there's one on the very top, and then the one underneath the feed tray.
Okay. All right.
This machine does require 2 rolls of film to work. You can do one-sided lamination, but you have to use a release liner as the other film.
Okay, and both films are the same thickness, is that correct?
Yes, we recommend that you always use the same thickness. If you use different thicknesses, top and bottom, you're going to get very uneven lamination.
Right.
Cause paper curl and all kinds of other problems. So.
Right. And this will go up to 11 by 17?
This one will actually go up to 13 by 18.
13 by 18. And what's the minimum?
Minimum is going to be 8.5 by 11. You can do
Okay.
smaller than that, but the guides don't go in that far. And you're going to have a lot of excess lamination that it won't trim off because it's only going to trim down to 8.5 by 11.
Okay, is there another product that you have that will do, let's say, laminate social security cards or?
Not with an automatic trim, no.
I'm sorry?
We don't have anything that would do that with an automatic trim.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. I understand. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, does it trim full bleed? Will it cut straight up to 8.5 by 11 without cutting the paper, but getting you a full bleed?
Yes. Yep, you can do a flush trim or a sealed edge. There is, I'll show you the adjustments here real quick.
Yeah, we have the previous version, and I'm thinking about upgrading to this, but it's hard to really dial that in. It doesn't get very specific. It had some notches, but if you you can maneuver those in between the notches if you can get it to stay. But
yeah, this has a spring loaded that'll take you into different places, and then there's also a micro adjustment that you can use to get it right where you want it to be.
Beautiful. And between this and the previous version, can you show me like what the enhancements, the feature changes might be?
Actually, I'm not real sure what the previous version was.
Okay.
That would have been before we purchased dry lam. So it's not a model that we've ever had in our building.
Okay.
So this one uses rollers instead of heat shoes.
Yes, it does have heat
That's one of the.
rollers, yes.
So on this, you can use soft touch film, whereas the predecessor, the ALM3230, was not able to use a soft touch film because it had heat shoes rather than rollers.
I did not know that.
So,
thank you, Chris.
What a soft touch film.
Yeah, it was a silk soft
mat.
touch film. So previously, previously all that was available was a gloss or
I
a
see.
film.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I got another question, please.
Sure.
Okay. The rollers, do the thickness of the film affect the yield of the rollers?
No, you can adjust the temperature that the rollers heat to, but it does not affect the yield, no.
Do you happen to know the yield of the rollers?
For the rolls of film, maybe?
Yeah, the yield of the roller films, you know. Like I'm a copier dealer, for example, and
yes.
the rollers, the heat rollers, they have a yield of either 100,000 or 200,000 copies, depending on the model. Do you happen to know the yield of the rollers on this?
Oh, like the lifespan? No, I don't have a yield total for those, no.
Okay, all right, okay. And if you have, again, I'm from the copier industry. If you have a misfeed or a jam, how easy is it to retrieve the jam, and what is the procedure?
Really? Depending on where your jam is, you're always going to start at the front because you don't want your lamination film. So you take the feed tray off, and then this top cover just folds down, and that gives you access to everything inside here. This is it. I mean, you have access to everything right there. So you would cut your film and it would pull right back out. You'd want to release your rollers over here.
Right.
And your film would just pull right back out.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's
the
easy.
mother is when it wraps around that your users don't know to stop, and it keeps wrapping around that roller. You can end up with
horrible mess.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, that's true.
Do they come with a 12-month warranty? Do you suggest service agreements? Are there service agreements, etc.?
We do not offer service agreements here from the factory, and that is something you'd want to contact your dealer about. They'd be able to help you with that. It does come with a 1-year parts warranty and 90 days labor warranty. So if you have any problems with it, obviously you can give us a call. You can call your dealer. Either way, we'll get you taken care of with that.
Okay. And you guys still offer like phone support throughout the life of having the unit?
Yes. Yeah, we do it over the phone or we do it by email as well.
How hard is it to open these sides? Is that something you can do while we have you on video, or
The side covers?
Yeah.
No, we don't have the tools in here to open it. There's not really too much to it. There's some screws that hold the side covers on the back and the bottom.
Yeah. I've had ours apart before, and there was a spring in one side that had come loose. I had to replace the spring. I was going to see if that technology looked the same in there, if it was the same build mechanics. But I mean, it doesn't matter if it is or isn't. It's still a good device. The 3220 is a good device. It was just starting to require more service than it used to.
Sure, yeah, wearing out.
Yeah, and this is faster too than the 3220. And
Yes, a little bit.
I'm not 100% sure.
At the default speed it is, but it actually caps out at about 44 inches per minute. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So the 3230 or 3220 was a little bit faster.
Oh, wow.
But you can end up with scratching in the film and everything because of the heat shoes rather than the rollers.
Ah.
Yeah. The guts are pretty much the same. There's nothing user serviceable underneath the side covers.
So you said not user serviceable?
No, you generally want your dealer to take care of any services.
Well, I don't have a dealer. Y'all are going to have to be my dealer if you're with Martin Yale. So I need it to be user serviceable.
Gotcha. It's the same as the guts or the internals are generally speaking about the same as the previous model.
Okay.
And George, I believe Debbie Short is your sales rep.
Yep.
Debbie Short, yeah. I'm going to talk to her later. Let me ask you something. Does this come with a 220, 240 volt for export?
I don't think this model does. No, this is just available in 110. We do have another model, the 3222, that we have a 220 volt available.
3222 is basically the same. Is that it?
It's the next step up. It's got a few more functions to it, a little bit more electronics, but it does have a lot of the same basic functions, yes.
And is that dual voltage, 110 and 220, or just 220?
It would just be one or the other. You can get it in 110 volt, or it is available in a 220, yes.
Yeah, okay, no problem. All right, I got an idea.
So the beefier model is the 3222?
I don't know if you want to say beefier. It's a little bit quicker, I think. It just has more bells and whistles. It's just setup is a little bit different. The front cover, it's bigger. It's got a bigger footprint. So the front cover, when you open that up, it is a little bit easier to access the rollers and everything in the front. But functionality wise, they're pretty close.
Built-in long mode operation. So you can do banner length prints on this.
Right. Yeah, it looks like the 3222 is faster, depending on the film that you have in it. And it does do heavier paper. It does up to 130 pound cover. This 3230 does up to 100 pound cover.
And does this one do the other soft touch as well, the 3222?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this is very informative. Will you be able to show us that? I'm really interested also in the envelope openers, or is that another video?
That is another video. We have some on the website, or I believe Debbie's got some access to those. She can email them to you as well.
Okay.
Great.
And we don't have any in here right now.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It gives me an idea. Okay.
You're welcome. If you have any
Thank
questions, just let us know.
Okay, Debbie, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, gang. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Later.